Hello, hello, hello. It's me, Carla, coming at you with another video. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and share my videos with others. And I am here to talk a little bit more about the GLP-1s that I used to take and the one I'm currently taking now. So today, to break it down a little bit more, I actually have some of my GLP-1s with me today so that I can give you more of a demonstration, explanation, and all this, that, and the other to give you an idea of exactly what they are. Now, for starters, I know I mentioned this a couple of times on some of my other videos, and those who are kind of sort of still debating on the GLP-1 way of doing things, I started on GLP-1s back in February 2023 because my diabetic numbers were not looking good and my weight was way up there. So my doctor decided to try me on Ozempic, and I got the red box, which is the 0.25 milligrams of Ozempic. And this same box, you can also increase it to the 0.5 milligram, because based on the medication that the GLP-1s that I took, they were the only ones that you change the setting yourself. Versus the other ones, they already preset. It's just one shot, boop, do and gone. But with the Ozempic one, I don't have any more stuff inside of it because, of course, these boxes are empty. You would get like a little container like this, and inside of it would have had, well, it's actually one still in here. Surprising. There's two in here. Well, you have like these little needles right here. The little needles that you get, and you change these out with your medication. I'm surprised I got some left. I don't even use them anymore though. This might have been the one that I stopped taking. No, it's not. I got it increased. But this is the actual pen that you would get for the 0.25 and the 0.5. And with these, you just take the cap off, you screw that little pin onto the top, and then like this right here, the little gauge will actually be all the way down to the bottom down here if it's full of medicine. But as you can tell, mine is all the way at the top because the thing is empty. So with this one, you do the cranking over here. I can't move it much anymore because it's already empty, but you watch it right here. And you crank the little numbers till you get to the right dosing that you want. Once you get it, then you pop it, boop, boop, and done. So that's the way Ozempic works. And with me, like I said, I started off with the 0.25. If you've never used it before, everybody starts on 0.25, and then it gradually goes up. The highest one I got to was the 1 milligram, and then but I stayed on the 0.25, 0.5 for a good, maybe I just grabbed a random box. I may have stayed on this one for about 6 to 7 months. And then I got advanced to this one. This is actually box number 11. So this is actually the 11th month of me taking Ozempic. But I've had it for a good, I took it for about a good year and a half after I started taking it. And then right after that year and a half, I switched over to Mounjaro, which was actually the first one I had taken with the actual one shot and you're done. I don't have the box to it. I'm surprised I threw it away because I had kept all my Ozempic boxes, but I randomly decided to keep this one Mounjaro pen and threw the rest of them out. But this is a 5 milligram. Yeah, 5 milligram Mounjaro pen. And you just, once you put it in, you have to push the pen. It's going to be locked first. When you first get it, it's going to be at the little lock symbol up here at the top. and then you turn it down here to the unlock. That means you're unlocking the needle on this end, and then it's an injector button that you push, and it just boop, shoots it over in there. That's Mounjaro. For me, well, I'll get into that in a minute. I'm just going to introduce all the medications first. I got off Mounjaro. I got off Ozempic because I ended up, like I said before, doing weight loss surgery. So after several months of weight loss surgery, I experienced a stall that was causing a lot of emotional strain on me. So I spoke to my bariatric doctor then, because the first ones came from my primary care doctor, because those were diabetic-based medications. Well, after the weight loss surgery, I didn't qualify for Ozempic and Mounjaro anymore. I had to move to either Zepbound or Wegovy. But being that I wanted something more similar to the Ozempic, I chose Wegovy because those are semaglutides. So with that, I went with Wegovy. And with Wegovy, they're actually one shot done. And I started off on the 0.25 of Wegovy. And they are actually, like I said, one shot, you're done. And that's just it. You have to, you can't see the needle, so it's up in there. And when you press it up against you, this little bar that's yellow right here is actually clear before you do it. And once you put it against your skin, you actually, instead of pushing a button like you do with Mounjaro or Ozempic, you're actually, it almost makes you think of a, I can't think of the name of it, but it's those pins when you're having an allergic reaction. It's the same similar thing. Sorry, I can't remember the name, but it's the same type of method. You push the pin itself into you versus just pushing a trigger button. So for me, that was a little bit more challenging versus a quick shot button. But that's how this one works. And then you just watch the panel turn yellow as the medicine goes out. So with the Wegovy, I started off on the 0.25 like everybody does. And then I advanced over to the 0.5. And I don't have this box because it's actually in my fridge right now, because all these medications stay, well, except for Ozempic. Mounjaro and Wegovy had to stay in the fridge until I needed that actual shot. Ozempic could stay in the fridge until I did the first initial shot, because you actually keep the same pen. Like I said, use this one instead, because I had already done that one. Yeah. With Ozempic, you're actually using the same pen over and over again. The medicine is down in here, and you just take so much of this medicine out a month. So this one pen is a whole month, whereas with Wegovy and Mounjaro, they're individual pen dosages. So you get the bigger box for these. But from the 0.25, I went to the 0.5, and now I'm on a 1 milligram. And then I just got another increase to a 1.7 milligram that I haven't gone to go pick up from the pharmacy yet. But that's basically what they are. For me, they almost do the same thing, because with the Ozempic and the Mounjaro, they're more diabetic based reasons, but you still get the same effect. With Wegovy, it's not. Now, I've heard where some of them, like maybe Zepbound, may be better for people with sleep apnea, and whereas Wegovy is more for high blood pressure. So either way, you lose weight on all of them, because they're GLP-1s. The medicine that's inside of them, will help you lose weight by A, you're not going to eat as much. B, They will train you how to eat properly, as in your entire diet plan changes. I have stressed this out before, and I cannot stress this enough. When you get on a GLP-1, you cannot go out and get the biggest burger you can find at Burger King. You cannot go out and get all them greasy fries and stuff like that with GLP-1s. That is not going to happen. You can try it, but if I was you, I wouldn't. Take it from somebody who's been on GLP-1s for 2.5 years, off and on. You do not want to go out there playing with your diet with GLP-1s. Go ahead in your mindset game and get ready for no more high carb foods. Because if you think about it, back with the Ozempic days for me and the Mounjaro days, those were diabetic based medications. Keep in mind, for diabetics, carbs is not your friend. I mean, I understand we need a little bit of carbohydrates, but you still need to monitor how many carbs you intake, because carbs turn into sugar. Sugar is not your friend when you're diabetic. You have to watch your sugars. And one thing that I never will forget, I'm thankful for my science teacher who taught it to us. We used to take certain foods and put this little purple dye on it. And that's how we were able to test, like if this one was a starch, if this one was this, if this one was that. If it turned purple, then we know that's what it is. 9 times out of 10, if it's high starch, it's high carb. So GLP-1s don't like carbs at all. Diabetics don't need but so many carbs because it turns into sugar, which increases your sugar intake. And one way to check this theory, if you're testing your blood sugar numbers like I do every morning, let's say you eat an apple that night before you go to bed. And let's say you go to bed, give or take 10, 11-ish. You ate an apple. You go to bed. You get up the next morning about 5 o'clock. Like I do normally get ready to go to work, 5:30-ish. You check your blood sugar numbers. It's going to be elevated. Wonder why? Because apples have carbs in them. They have natural carbs. Not like, something that you went out there and got a whole bunch of whatever, and whatever, pasta and this, that, and the other. Fruit has carbs in it. Carbs turn into sugar. That increases your blood sugar. So that's one reason why I don't drink juice. I eat fruit. I eat my juice. I don't drink my juice. I eat my fruit. I do not drink juice. I have not drunk juice for 2.5 years. Ever since I got on GLP-1s from the very start, I have not drunk any juice at all. Ever since I've been on my GLP-1s, I'm very, very, very lenient about bread. Even before I had my surgery, I have gotten a burger. Did I pay for it? I sure did. I most certainly did. It was a Happy Meal. I most certainly did. I paid for it. Even though I knew I wasn't supposed to eat those fries that was in that little Happy Meal, I ate them. I most certainly did. I was like, it'll be all right. It's a kiddie fry. Yeah, I did. Pay for it in the end. I was hungry. I ate, but I paid for it. So I was like, nah, it's not worth it. It's not worth it. Like I said before with the GLPs, you will experience a change in your routines when your doctor is fluctuating your stuff, trying to find the right level for you. Because for me, the reason why mine is going up, my Wegovy is going up again, is because my second dose, I plateau out. like it kickstart the first dose. It'll continue weekly on the second dose. Third dose, by that third dose, it's like, I don't know about now. So I'm hoping that when I finish the box that I'm on now, which is the 1 milligram, and I switch over to the 1.7 milligram, that it'll get me to where now I'm ready to maintain. Because I only actually got 20 pounds left before I hit my overall health goal. So once I knock them 20 pounds off, if I lose more, I do. If I don't, oh well. But like I've said so many times with physical challenges, I only exercise so much. So I'm basically just living my life, watching what I eat, and using the GLP-1s. Because yes, I've already had a duodenal switch bariatric surgery. My tool is doing exactly what it's supposed to do. I can only eat so much. And that's one thing I want to go ahead and address real quick, because I don't remember if I addressed it in my other videos, as in why I'm on GLP-1s when I've already had bariatric surgery. Does that mean I failed at bariatric surgery? No, it does not. Bariatric surgery is only a tool. Just like these GLP-1s, they're tools. It is a tool. Sometimes in order to get the job done, you need more than one tool to get it done. Sometimes, it takes a hammer and a screwdriver to get the job done. Sometimes it takes a power drill and, a flame torch, so to speak, to get the job done. So do I feel like I failed at weight loss surgery? No, I did not, because I lost 100 pounds already on just the weight loss alone surgery. I lost 100 pounds on Ozempic alone. So do I feel like I failed? No, I don't. I really don't. Have I met my goal yet? No, I have not. That's like I said, I still got 20 pounds to go. What's going to happen when I hit my 20 pounds? Am I going to get off my Wegovy? I don't know yet. I really don't know. It depends. What I try to do on maintenance dose? Maybe. Depends on the state of mind that I'm in by that time. Because what people need to understand is, and I can't stress this enough, once you start losing weight and you have body image distortion, your mind is already playing tricks with you. So when you look in the mirror, even though you have body image distortion, you see yourself as being bigger than what you really are when you look in the mirror. When you find yourself, I'm trying to get close to the mic because every time I record, somebody gets loud in the background. So when you find yourself getting on those plateaus and things start changing, it gets kind of hard for you. So when it's mentally hard, of course, you're going to want to increase your dosage up some to, continue with the weight loss that you're trying to get to. But you got to do it healthily. You got to make sure that whatever you do, you're doing healthy. You're being healthy with it and not just rushing, increase, rushing, increase. No, you got to kind of go with the flow. That's why you have 4 doses in a box. 4 doses per box. 4 doses per box. That way you give yourself a month to decide on, how your body's going to do it, how your body's going to adjust, how well you're going to, your weight loss goals that you're trying to meet, and see, do you want to drop it down or increase it up? So that's one reason why, for me, I don't have refills on my Wegovy. I get my Wegovy month to month, because if I get a dose and it's too much, then I can talk to my doctor and he'll decrease it back down. Or he already got all the prescription. He'll just send another prescription over with a lower dose. If I am on one and I see that I plateaued after that second dosage again, then he may up it up to the next one. So I can get to the level that I'm trying to get to. And then my goal is to either have it to where it levels off at my weight goal, and I can see if I can weed myself backwards to get off of the GLP-1s and just use my tool by itself, or just find a happy maintenance dose. Because I don't want to just be taking them just to be taking them and they really not doing anything for me. I can tell if they're doing something for me. If I start what I call grazing, which is, like almost like boredom eating, is a little bit of emotional eating, little bit of boredom eating, and staying awake at work eating. I've started back chewing gum because there's sometimes when, you would just want just something to chew on, something crunchy, something to chew, just something to keep you going, so to speak, that energizer bunny going until it's time for you to actually eat your food or time for you to do something else. Pretty much for me, like this week alone, I haven't really been eating my lunch. I mostly been getting one of my favorites is pistachios, nibble on pistachios before lunch, go out in my car, sit in my car for a while, and then that's how I spend my lunch. Just sitting out in the car, talking on the phone, or surfing the web or doing something else, but I'm outside of the building so that I can at least get a change of scenery. But with the GLP-1s, for me, I need it to help me with that grazing period, because between 10 o'clock and 1 o'clock when I go to lunch, you can get a lot of grazing in, because you just had something. Because like I said, I start my day with protein shakes, and sometime here lately I've been starting off with some type of tea, be it peppermint tea or green tea. So I got my hot tea first, or I'll be letting it cool while I drink my protein shake. Then I get my hot tea. I haven't felt like bringing the apples in and all the fruit and stuff like that, because I usually eat a fruit at 10 o'clock. But here lately, this week, I kind of sort of didn't feel like preparing the fruit to get it done for that time frame. So between 10, 11-ish and to 1, a lot of grazing will take place. A lot, because that's when I start getting sleepy. Whatever I'm doing is starting to get kind of repetitive, and I need a break. So it's like I don't want to actually eat lunch yet, because I'm trying to stay on the schedule of eating at 1 o'clock from 1 to 2. As you can tell, it's been a long day for me. I'm sorry. But it is, trying to stretch those hours out. So for me, being that I'm on a GLP-1 now, again, it kind of fixes that gap, that grazing gap, so to speak. So instead, I may just be drinking some water, or I may be chewing some gum. Now, I have to be careful with gum, mind you. Very, very, very careful with gum. And I don't know if this is ongoing since having DS surgery or what. But for any, they tell you right after surgery about not chewing gum because of the air in your stomach. For a while, I couldn't chew gum. For a while, I couldn't talk for long periods of time because you swallow air when you talk. But for me, now that I'm a year out from surgery, I noticed that if I chew gum too many days a week, I'll still have the same effect. If I, have long periods of talking, by the end of the day, the work day, I have the same pain in my stomach. But I also noticed that if I go too long without eating, the stomach monsters will get started. So it is what it is. So, yeah. So I try to at least, use my GLP-1s incorporated with my tool to fix that gap in between that breakfast and lunch. Because sometimes I forget to bring a little snack. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. My go-to snacks is always peanut butter. Peanut butter, peanut butter, peanut butter. Pistachios, pistachios, pistachios. Cheese sticks. Protein, protein. So those have always been my quick go-tos. Those particular items in that little gap. But I have to be careful to make sure that I measure out my pistachios, because once you put a handful of pistachios over to the side and you start eating them, before you know it, you're grazing again. You're going to be grazing. And the only thing that sometimes will stop me from grazing, one, because some days I barely want a handful during that grazing period. This week I haven't. Just give me a little something just to kind of kick that block between lunch and, breakfast and lunch. And I'm good. I'll drink water the rest of the period. And then when I go to lunch, what's so crazy is I have a whole salad. If I have my chicken salad and my celery cut up with me, then I'll eat that for lunch. If I don't and I have a full salad, I'll just get some pistachios. I'll eat some protein chips, something like that at lunch, and then wait till I come home and then eat the salad. I don't know why I keep doing this, but I've done it all week. So to make sure that I eat something for lunch, it's best that I try to at least cut up my celery sticks the night before, so that I at least force myself to eat something protein-wise and make sure I get enough calories and enough protein throughout the day. Because the one thing you don't want your GLP-1 to do is to get you where you're not eating nothing. Because that's not healthy at all. Because like I said in my previous video about my physical challenges, you don't want to get to the point to where you're not intaking enough protein, and then that affects your muscle mass. So muscle mass is strength. You don't want to lose your strength. You don't want to lose your muscle mass. So you got to make sure you're intaking enough protein. So you got to make sure that the GLP-1s are not getting you to the point where, because sometimes I can't remember, they say they curb your appetite. I know they said something about slowing down the digestion. So for me, it has a pro and con with that, because I have had DS surgery. So it's touch and go. I can see a pro and a con in it for it to slow down my digestion. That way I can at least have a chance to absorb more nutrients, because DS surgery patients have a high nutrient deficiency than a lot of other ones. Whereas I'm hoping that it will give my body a little bit more time. Plus, if I'm not mistaken, I have to go back and look back into it again, because I know a lot of nutrition absorbency goes through with the intestinal tract. And with the DS surgery, your intestinal tract is rerouted. So you only get like a certain portion that gets to be, absorb your nutrients. So it's like, it has a pro and con with it, but you just gotta, like I say all the time, work with your doctors with it. But for me, I have never had, knock on wood, GLP-1 problems. And I pray I never do, because I'm not ready to stop them just yet. I do have certain pains that get me a little concerned, but I have other health issues going on. Like I said in my last video, I'm on oxygen. I don't use it every day. I use it a lot of days, because right now the season is changing. Ooh, the season is changing, which means pollen is going to start changing. Fall pollen is going to come out. The wind's going to start picking up. These leaves are going to start blowing. And I got to get ready for respiratory season, so to speak, with that. So the pains that I have from respiratory issues kind of have me thinking sometimes, is it the GLP-1 issues? But since my body keeps doing what it's supposed to be doing, I tend to rule out the GLP-1s. But I know that anytime I'm ever concerned or worried about how things are going, I can always ask my doctor. I can always ask my doctor. I can always ask my doctor's team. And of course, they're there that's what they're there for. So with that, overall, to sum it up, I enjoy having my GLP-1s as my assistant for my tool, because had I not had them, mentally, I think it would have been a challenge for me. But since I did have them and I do have access to them, my mental game is on a different level, even though I still, like I said, I have body image distortion. So it still has a lot going on with it. I'm not exactly where I want to be with it. I have to force myself to see myself the way it really is. Like right now, I have on a waist trimmer, and it was shocking that I went and bought this yesterday and actually got a small medium. And it's not like it's just touching like this. It's actually overlapping with the small medium on. So I'm like, wow. So this stuff is really working, so to speak. And I haven't done my measurements in a while, which I need to do probably tomorrow morning, since I already took care of some birthday stuff today that I was going to do tomorrow. Might as well get it done first thing in the morning when I get up and actually get my measurements for the first time in a while, because I haven't measured, I don't think, since June, maybe June, early July. I haven't done any measurements since then. And not only do they, sometimes they recommend that you follow the measurements versus the scale, but it's time consuming for me. It's time consuming to get all those measurements, because I have one measurement chart with my scale, then I have another measurement chart with the Baritastic app. So it's like, as much, even though both of them are time consuming, I'll get more measurements if I use the actual scale measurement tool. But I can get down much quicker, and I'll have a tracking record with the one that's on the Baritastic app, because the scale is fairly new. I think I just got it sometime over the summer, versus me using the Baritastic app that I have used for about a little over a year. But then again, there are days, like the last time I did it, I put it on both. So, it's taken me some time to go through both apps, because I can't remember what measurements I need for the other app while I'm in that particular area, measuring that particular thing. So I end up doing them all over again, which I've got to perfect it tomorrow morning, because I really need to get the other measurements done, because it's time to go shopping again. The clothes are too big again. So pretty much almost everything in my closet is going to have to be cleaned out. And I got to start all over again with more clothes, which is why I have to do thrift store shopping, because like I said plenty of time before, I'm not paying all that money for them clothes for me to have to wear for maybe a month and a half at the most, and then have to get rid of it. So it is what it is. But the one thing I want to stress again before I get off of here for today, if you do decide to try the GLP-1s, take baby steps. Watch what you eat. Watch what you eat. Can't stress it enough. Watch what you eat. Drink plenty of water. Water. Plenty of water. Can't stress that enough. If you don't like water, Let me tell you what you do. Go up to Walmart. Look in the, I think it's, trying to think, is it like the Kool-Aid section? Somewhere around there. They got those little squeeze water enhancers. Make sure you read them. Make sure you read them. Get the liquid, not the powder. Get the liquid. Liquid water enhancers. Make sure they're the ones with 0 calories. Try to get the clear ones because the clear ones do not contain the color dye in it, which is much more healthier. Right now, because I always get them anyway, only ones I've ever seen was the sour apple and the watermelon of the clear. It's the great, actually Walmart brand. That's the only ones I know who got the clear ones is the Walmart brand. Otherwise, you got to get the color. Ain't nobody got time for all them dyes. When you're trying to get healthy, why would you do that? So that's one way to do it. Or if you're another person who like infusers, go get your fruit and put it in your infuser and drink it that way. Or if you would like to do it the old school way, get your lemon, put them in there. Get your cucumber, put them in there. You know, whatever way you want to do it. But please, by all means, get your water in there. Because with these GLP-1s, they already say it slowed down your digestion. That's the last thing you want to do is slow your digestion down and you're not putting enough fluid, water, to help regulate your body, to create the water in your body to do what your body needs to do to keep it functioning. So make sure you're drinking plenty of water. For me, to ensure that I'm good, I also take stool softeners. Maybe you might not be a person who need them. I do, because I know I don't intake enough fiber in my diet. So I use it to help me to be on the safe side. That's just my way of doing it. I don't know if that's playing a part as to why I've never had a problem with it, but that's just my way of doing it. So, with that being said, be blessed, like, comment, subscribe, and share this video with your friends. Bye! But these bitches in my business, coming out to choosing violence. If you see me out in public, you don't know me.